I drove out to Oklahoma, expecting peace and quiet. The kind of silence that only exists on a farm. Wind in the cornfields, cattle lowing in the distance, the soft creak of the old barn door. That's what I wanted. Instead, I got bulldozers, survey trucks, and a woman named Linda Harris, the self-appointed queen of the HOA, turning my land into what looked like a construction site for a small airport. When I saw those orange survey stakes cutting through my pasture, I thought, no way. But then I saw Linda, arms crossed, sunglasses glinting, smiling like she'd just unveiled the eighth wonder of the world. That was the day I realized this wasn't another HOA project. It was a full-blown runway on my property. Before we dive into this insanity, drop a comment with where you're watching from. I want to see just how far this HOA chaos traveled. When I first pulled up to my dad's old farmhouse, it looked almost frozen in time. The faded mailbox, the rusty tin rooster on the fence, even the barn leaning just a little more than I remembered. But the air felt wrong. Busy, too busy. I'd come here for rest! I run the Federal Aviation Administration. Yeah, the FAA back in D.C. My life is 2 a.m. Phone calls, emergency flight orders, and congressional hearings. So when summer rolled around, I figured I'd earned a week of quiet. Instead, I pulled into a construction zone nobody told me about. At first, I thought maybe the county was fixing the road, but when I saw orange cones inside my pasture, my gut said otherwise. And sure enough, out walked Linda Harris. "John," she called, voice dripping with fake charm. "We're making improvements while you were away." "Improvements?" I asked. "Funny, I don't remember approving anything." She smirked, pulled her sunglasses down, and said, "Progress doesn't wait for anyone." I almost laughed. Progress. "Lady, you're paving over my cornfield." Later that day, I stopped by the general store. Old man Jenkins leaned over the counter and said, "Heard Linda S. turning the neighborhood into one of those fly-in communities where rich folks land their planes next to their houses." I blinked. "She's building a runway." He nodded. "You picked the wrong week to come home." When I drove back, the survey lines made perfect sense. Straight, even aligned with the wind. Perfect for small planes. Perfectly illegal. The next morning, I woke up to engines roaring, asphalt trucks lined up like they were paving a Walmart parking lot. Linda stood dead center in a hard hat, barking orders like a general. "Morning, John," she said. "You should thank us. This will raise your property value." "Planes?" I asked. "Not planes," she corrected. "A private airstrip. The future." I took a sip of my coffee and smiled. "You do realize this is my land, right?" "Technicalities," she waved. "The board voted majority rules?" I laughed. "A vote on my property? What's next? Repainting the White House?" She just smirked. Progress doesn't wait. But what she didn't know was that she'd just picked a fight with the director of the HOA meetings were a circus. Linda paraded around like a politician, preaching about vision and progress, while the rest nodded like cult members. When I held up my deed and told them the land was mine, she smiled that soulless smile. "John, the world doesn't stop for nostalgia," she said. "You should be thanking us." When I called her out for bulldozing federal property, she snapped. "This project is happening, and if you don't cooperate, we'll fine you for every delay." That's when I leaned in and said, calm as ever, "Linda, you can bully your neighbors all you want, but when it comes to airspace, you're not in charge." The room went silent. She asked, "Is that a threat?" "No," I smiled. "That's a fact." From that day on, the HOA went to war. Letters, fines, threats. They even blocked my driveway with orange cones, which I promptly drove over. But I didn't fight back. Not yet. Because while Linda was playing local dictator, I was building a federal case. Every photo, every noise, complaint, every witness statement, I documented it all. Even set up trail cams around the property. What I found was gold trucks, bulldozers, and contracts promising exclusive hangar access for $1,000 a pop. Linda wasn't just breaking the law. She was running a scam. So I waited. Because my dad always said, when someone's digging their own hole, don't take away the shovel. And Linda? She was paving hers. Then the flyer came. Grand opening. HOA private runway. Ribbon cutting. Live flight demonstration. I nearly spit out my coffee. She was throwing a launch party. For a crime scene. I called my contact in DC. Get the cease and desist ready. I said, we're about to make headlines. The big day arrived. SUVs lined the road. Banners waved. Welcome to the future. Linda strutted onto the stage. Microphone in hand. Champagne on ice. This runway will make us the envy of Oklahoma, she proclaimed. And right on cue, a twin-engine plane circled overhead, preparing to land. The crowd cheered. Cameras flashed. And that's when I stepped forward. Linda, I called out, you might want to hold off on the champagne. She frowned. John, not now. Oh, I think now's perfect. I pulled my FAA badge from my jacket. My name is John Miller, Director of the Federal Aviation Administration. And as of this moment, this runway is officially shut down. Gasps. Chaos. The sheriff's deputies I'd briefed stepped forward, signaling the pilot. The plane aborted the landing and climbed away. The crowd erupted, half in shock, half in applause. Linda's face drained of color. You can't do this. Linda, I smiled. I'm literally the only one who can. Reporters swarmed the stage. Investors waved contracts. Furious. You told us this was approved, Linda stammered. It's a misunderstanding. I held up the Sisandis. Correction! It was denied. By me. The sheriff stepped in. Ma'am, we'll need you to come with us. And just like that, the queen of the HOA was dethroned. Within a week, the FAA investigation went public. Linda was charged with unauthorized construction, environmental violations, and fraud. The runway was torn up, the land restored. When it was over, the neighbors finally breathed easy again. No noise, no dust, just peace. Mrs. Thompson brought me a pie. Jenkins tipped his hat. And I finally got that nap under the oak tree. All I wanted was a quiet week off. Instead, I shut down the shortest-lived airport in America. But this story isn't just about an HOA gone rogue. It's about pride, greed, and what happens when someone thinks they're above the rules. Linda Harris thought she could bulldoze her way to prestige. Instead, she crash-landed in front of the whole town. So, tell me, have you ever faced a Linda Harris in your life? Someone who thought they could walk all over you? Drop your story in the comments. And if you enjoyed this one, hit that subscribe button because trust me, this isn't the last HOA horror story you'll hear.